Welcome to Sincerely Me, a podcast about self-discovery and inner work so you can cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and show up more fully in your work and life. My name is Talia Delju, and I'm honored to be your host. Hello. Welcome to episode 1 of this new podcast. My name is Talia Delju, and I'm so thrilled that you are here. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in, to listen, and to hopefully unplug. Well, not really, since you're plugged in to something to listen to this, but unplug from the chaos and just noise of the world to do some deep inner work, because that is where the real magic happens. So my intention for today is to introduce this podcast and give you a sense of what you can expect during our time together. And where I'll start is the name of the podcast. So I'm not going to lie, I had a long list of names, but I landed on Sincerely Me for a lot of reasons. Hopefully, what it reminds you of is the way you would sign off on a letter, right? Saying sincerely and then your name. But the idea behind Sincerely Me is that you're writing a letter to yourself. And the power of that is the relationship that you start to build with yourself and the process of getting to know who you are. And so as a coach, I've come to see the power of cultivating this relationship to self and getting to know who you are outside of the titles you hold, outside of the roles you fill in your life or in your work or in your relationships. And a lot of homework that I give to my clients is around writing letters to yourself, talking to things that get in your way: money, fear, expectation, worry, doubt. This type of deep reflection and, again, inner work is really what helps us see what we truly deeply want and get to know who we really are underneath all the layers of crap that we've maybe taken on over the years. So the name Sincerely Me is meant to capture the essence of cultivating that relationship to self and getting to know yourself. That's going to lead us into a lot of different topics throughout our time together in this podcast. Topics like uncovering what's holding you back, stepping into your power, uncovering your desires, understanding your strengths, pursuing your work with purpose, intuition, abundance, resiliency, mindset. The list goes on, and I cannot wait to dig into all of these things and more with you. And if you're wondering why I am interested in these topics and types of conversations, I have a bit of a personal story to share with you. Back in 2012, I had a moment of realizing that I defined myself so closely by things that were external to me. So, I was president of my sorority. I was the musical director of an all-women's a cappella group. I was a resident of DC, a student at American University. And the day after I graduated, I was no longer any of those things. I literally woke up in my parents' house in Atlanta and had no idea what to do, who I was, without all these roles and titles I had come to kind of cling on to so tightly. And so that led me into just a period of questioning, how do we define who we are? How do we feel that sense of worth? And why is it so difficult, especially in times of transition, to remember who we are and to get back to kind of our core when some of those titles and roles might not be so clear? And that led me to graduate school, studying positive psychology, which is the science of thriving and flourishing and finding meaning in work and life. And ultimately, what that led me to was becoming the co-founder of Mavenly & Co. with Kate Grimion, joining a wonderful team of women to help other women pursue work with purpose through entrepreneurship. And so, throughout these past 4 years, I've really come to see a lot about what we as women face in the world, and specifically in the way we see ourselves. And I've had the pleasure and privilege of really supporting women through change and transformation on a deeper level, and that's exactly what I'm pursuing moving forward in my life, is not so much the new job or the bigger paycheck or the external things we think are going to fulfill us, but learning how to find that fulfillment from within. And no longer going to bed feeling like there's something missing, right? A lot of us check all those boxes and kind of have this inner sense that we're meant for something more, but don't really know how to figure out what that is. And I truly do believe through the work I've done, and even in my own life, so many of us just play way too small. Fear gets the best of us, and we don't give ourselves the time and space to really step into who we are and to do the inner work, to ask ourselves the tough questions, to stare at ourselves in the mirror and say, who am I? What do I want? What will feel significant? How will I lead a life of significance? And so, without getting too much more into it, that really is why this work is important to me. I am here to do the inner work for myself in my life. This by no means makes me an expert in self-discovery or self-mastery. I'm continuing to do this work, and I'm honestly just hoping that my own journey in some way aligns with your journey, and that we can share lessons learned with each other along the way. So thank you so much for tuning into this introductory episode. I hope it gave you a sense of what types of topics and conversations you can expect over our time together in the podcast. And if you've listened to a podcast before, you know what I'm about to say. Please subscribe, rate, and review. If and when you do that, it helps me know who's listening, what you all are liking, what you all want, and it also helps other folks find this content who might need a little bit of reconnection with themselves. I would also love to hear from you. You can contact me directly through Instagram at Tallia Deljou, TalliaDeljou, and catch a little bit more about me, this podcast, and the work I'm doing over at TalliaDeljou.com. You can expect a new episode every Wednesday, and some solo podcast episodes, some interviews with guests, some meditations. We are just going to have some fun and see where this takes us. So hang tight, and I will catch you in the next episode. Sincerely, me.